Here we are in Topeka, Kansas with Frito-Lay. This is a manufacturing plant that makes all the great snacks that we enjoy. Out of this location, they transfer all those snacks to the northern part of Montana all the way to South Texas. They have about 120 pieces of equipment, and all but 10 of them are either natural gas, battery electric, or now these biodiesel high-efficiency tractors. What that allows them to do is dramatically cut their carbon emissions here by using the Optimus system to use the biodiesel in a high-efficient Volvo tractor trailer. Let's go check out how they're making all this work.
This site here in Topeka is really unique because it's an example of where we're running electric vehicles. We have CNG tractors, and then we now have biodiesel tractors as well.
We're not just focusing on one solution. In order to make this work, to reach our overall goal, we have multiple solutions that we have to deploy in order to certainly meet our overall goal.
When we look at different solutions, what it comes down to is, does it fit into that state? For California, we can lean into renewable diesel because the fuel cost is so competitive out there, and we could also lean into EV. But when we talk about central mid-America, where we have great availability of biodiesel, renewable diesel, compressed natural gas availability, we're gonna lean more into those technologies. When we look at our longer range routes, that's where we're using biodiesel as a supplement to diesel.
I think the biggest one about biodiesel to remember is that it is a renewable fuel. It's something that's clean. When it burns, it's getting rid of over 90% of the carbon emissions that would come out of the tailpipe of a commercial vehicle. Biodiesel is also one of those fuels. It's been around forever. Why wouldn't we have this solution? It's quick, it's easy, it's available, and it seems like it's the smart choice for today's fleets and shippers.
Soybeans are primarily protein meal, but a big portion of that is the soybean oil that comes with it. Soybean farmers have to have a market for both. Livestock industry takes all the meal, but we consume only about half of the soybean oil that we produce. So back in the early 1990s, the soybean checkoff started funding research to see if it was even an option to create a fuel out of soybean oil. And here we are today, a couple decades later, with a full commercial biodiesel industry.
The fuel is readily available nationwide. There's no infrastructure to be built out at staggering costs. There's no dramatic increase in the cost of the equipment to operate. So it's a tremendous solution today.
So this site here is going to take on 3 15,000 gallon tanks, 2 of which will be biodiesel tanks, and 1 will be diesel. So they're pretty dangerous at the market pricing then. They allow themselves to take a full truckload drop. We're just finalizing the tanks. We'll be building those out. We'll be shipping them at the end of July. Once they get set on site, they're going to probably only be here 10 to 15 days, and they'll be operational.
When we first launched this program and this pilot with Optimus, there was definitely some skepticism around biodiesel. Going back a decade ago, there were definitely some challenges even at the B20 level. There's a couple of unique things about the Optimus system that really makes this system very elegant in the way that it's put together. The system isolates B100 to a single tank, so you still have another tank that does have just regular diesel or renewable diesel in it. And so the truck will start and stop on regular diesel, but then when it's cruising down the highway doing the majority of its operation, it's able to run on that up to 100% biodiesel and have a significant reduction in our emissions. And then we've also looked at the improvements in the quality of fuel. The Clean Fuel Alliance of America, as well as some of the national labs like NRail, have done studies on the improvement in the quality of fuel, including improvements in the ASTM spec. And some of those improvements have given us the confidence that we have the ability to be able to operate on biogenic fuels at a much higher level than historically we were able to.
So over here we have our B100 tank that has the heat exchanger in it. Once we get up to about 90 degrees Fahrenheit, our vector manifold is what I call the brains of the operation. The vector manifold is where we pull that fuel out of the tank, make sure it's up to that 90 degrees Fahrenheit. The ECU, or electronic control unit, is right here. Once it recognizes that it's conditioned and it's ready to go, we'll send it upstream to under the hood, where it'll go to our fuel selector valves. And there's 2 valves typically on our configuration, and those valves are going to select whether it's running on diesel fuel or if it's running on B100. So once it's conditioned, it's ready to go, we'll close off the fuel supply of ultra low sulfur diesel and open it up so that we hopefully do 85 to 90% of the duty cycle on B100.
We're excited to launch the new Volvo VNL into our fleet. Really, the new VNL has really focused on a lot of improvements around efficiency and safety. And so this truck behind us, we expect to see efficiency gains, not only with the iTorque spec, the turbo compounding of the engine, but we leverage lift axles. A lot of times with Frito-Lay, because we're light, we're able to lift those axles up in the air and gain better efficiency, have less rolling resistance and less wear on our tires. And then when we go to pick up a heavy load of product, those axles will drop down and allow us to balance that payload across the tractor trailer and allow us to move more products at once. So that's just one example of how we have great interchangeability in our assets in the type of products that we're moving.
The cab itself is a little bit narrower in the front versus tapering out to the back side of it. The fuel economy we've seen is run anywhere between 6 and 10 depending on what the customer's duty cycle is and the type of aerodynamic features that they've selected on this truck. So when we look at the new D13 engine, we've done some internal improvements to it. We've changed the engine geometry just a little bit. We've shortened the piston height and lengthened the connecting rod. That changes the friction on the liner itself. We've also given a variable displacement oil pump inside of the engine and improved injectors. The turbine is slightly smaller to maximize the efficiency of the engine. And then the efficiency we see from a mechanical perspective is approximately 3% on the engine. And as we move back into the transmission is about 30% faster in shifting speed, and that allows that engine to stay in the sweet spot just a little bit longer, grabbing just a little bit more fuel economy. And then as we transition back to the axle is this is a 6x2 tractor. So it does have a liftable axle, reducing the parasitic loss. The 217 also has a nice benefit as it allows the truck to spend more time in eco roll. And then the 217 also allows this engine with the 1,850 pound-feet of torque to spend more time in top gear, roughly a little bit over 900 RPMs at 65 miles an hour. So we get this to just cruise down the road, sipping fuel, and then if we do approach a hill, we're able to downshift immediately with our IC in the truck, increase in engine RPMs, and then increase in overall performance. It's really a refined product, not only from the engine side of it, but also the aerodynamics. Those systems work hand in hand.
I've been in trucking for about 35 years, a little over 25 years with Frito-Lay here in Topeka. I got my 2 million miles last year. Anybody over 2 million miles gets their own lock truck. And so keep the same trucks on a regular basis. I've been driving a biodiesel truck now for a year or so. It's got a little more horsepower and a little more torque and runs a little lower RPM, should get a little better fuel mileage, and kind of looking forward to that. That's where I spoke up and wanted to check out the new technology and the new engine and just see how it performs.
In addition to what we get from Volvo, we've complemented that with additional add-ons with equipment like truck wings, flow below.
If you put all of our products on the tractor and the trailer, you're going to see about 4.5%, which equates to about 5.88 gallons for every 1,000 miles driven. The flow below product basically smooths out the flow of air around the lower side of the rig, and that reduces turbulence. And by reducing that turbulence, we reduce drag. And in so doing, we improve fuel economy.
Truck Wings is a smart aerodynamic product that's designed to deploy at highway speeds. That deployment closes the gap in between the truck and the trailer. That gap is a major cause for drag. When we seal that gap, what we do is we increase fuel economy, we reduce emissions, and it's all with no driver interaction at all. It's based on the speed. So when the tractor gets to 52 miles per hour, the telematics that are included in the system deploy. When the tractor gets to 51 miles per hour, they pull back in. They get out of the way for tighter turns so they don't damage anything.
So one of the things that you see about this particular set of wings is we've actually cut these windows into it. That was important because this truck actually has windows in the back, so it allows the driver to be able to see through the wings as they're in a closed position like this. One of the key features of truck wings is we actually have the top. So many side fairings will close the gap in between the truck and the trailer. One of the benefits of truck wings is it actually closes the gap at the top as well. And that's where a lot of that turbulence happens. And that's one of the major benefits of truck wings.
So the industry went from preventive maintenance to dynamic. You know, Volvo right now has their dynamic maintenance where the truck tells us when it needs to be serviced. We see fleets that actually follow the proper recommended dynamic maintenance and, you know, with little to no downtime. The technologies coming into play, they are somewhat challenging. No one likes change, but we like to take that step forward and follow the change because, you know, that's where the industry is leading. It is expensive for the dealerships to train technicians for the new technology and outfit with tooling and, say charge stations and stuff like that. So there is expense with it. But once again, it's for the customers who we support day in and day out.
It's a learning curve every day. There's always new technology coming in. We have a staff of what we call VETs, so they're virtual expert trainers. So our technicians can phone into them if they have questions. They're the experts when it comes to some new technology. We also leverage our local, what we call a DET, so he's a division expert trainer. And he's being shared the information from the VETs to spread down to us at the local level. I think it's exciting for technicians who haven't worked on it yet. During the interviews, when we talk to technicians and they see this stuff, it gets them excited, almost pumped up to where they, okay, I want to come in and I want to see what this stuff is all about.
So this bay is called the wash bay. So what the guys do here, we have fuelers that work 24/7, 365. So these guys, their job is to, when a truck comes in, it gets backed out onto the fence. And then once they come in, they'll walk out there, they'll pick it up, bring it in this bay. They're going to either fuel diesel and biodiesel or diesel on both sides. Or if it's a CNG, they'll still bring it in here and we're going to check all fluids. We're going to look for some issues as we walk around the truck. Then they're going to wash it down, clean it up. This bay is not going to change a whole lot. So we're going to have diesel on both sides. We'll have biodiesel on the passenger side. And then those trucks will get pulled in. They'll get fueled the same way. The only main difference is going to be that we are, instead of having dispensers in this bay where you normally see dispensers on fuel islands, we're going to go with a metered system on the wall up in the corner to help protect it from inside this bay. Because this bay takes a lot of wear and tear with soaps and corrosive, stuff being washed off trucks, all that. So we're trying to protect it a little bit better and have a better outcome, better lasting product here.
I think there are nuances with every biodiesel site that we've gone and put infrastructure into. We have about 7 sites now, and since we started with this site in 2022, we've gone from 0 to 700 assets that are biodiesel capable. So scaling so quickly and having it be so successful, I only see it growing more exponentially in the coming years. So putting in more infrastructure at more sites at a quicker pace, I would anticipate.
From a total technology standpoint, alternative fuels have worked out really, really well, not only for our fleet, but other fleets. Having a drop-in solution or having a solution that's local to Kansas, bringing in alternative fuels that support Kansas soybean make a difference not only for our fleet, but also for the community. So we're excited to support Kansas and we're excited to be part of this run on less.
This is huge. Number one, it's one of the most recognized fleets in the country. It's also pretty special to us because it's right here in our backyard in Topeka, Kansas. Our soybean farmers in the state can be super proud of it. They've been involved in the biodiesel industry for 20 years. And to see a success like this, hundreds of trucks using B100 is something that I think our forefathers in the biodiesel industry could have never imagined. Now we're talking about 5, 6, 7 billion gallons in the not too distant future. So it's a tremendous opportunity, and it's special to have Frito-Lay and PepsiCo right here in our backyard leading the charge.